Okay, what's up, guys? It's me, Doc, the DOC, from SampleKings.com. If you've never heard of me before, you know about me now. This video is a special new video I'm putting together. I'm going to do more of this. It's about making beats. You got me? And so, making beats is a complicated idea. There are so many different sounds to have. You know, there's a bass drum. There's a snare drum. Ooh, there could be like a hi-hat. Another bass drum. Two bass drums? Whoa, a duddy bass drum. We could have, another hi-hat. Well, this is incredible. We could have a hi-hat that could be a crash. Let me open this one up here. I'll put this one up. How's this? What the hell? Everything's up in here. An open hi-hat. One right here. Whoa, it rings for a long period of time and it just dissipates quickly. That's amazing. So look, what's going on here in this lesson? It's about combining these sounds to create a beat, and this is about boom bap. Now, boom bap is about the bass drum and the snare drum hitting, right? And for an example, I'll play you this 4-bar or 4-measure phrase. Okay, that's enough. Now, some of it sounds great, some of it I might change some, and the purpose of this video is to show you how micro beat making works. Now, this has been popularized by Dilla, of course. And so a lot of guys have been reading about Dilla, and this technique is really cool, but this is about taking your time. Finger drumming is about playing the drumming with the drum machine or your MPC or whatever device you got, you're slapping it, hitting it. I get that idea, but in reality, most humans aren't on time. These are machines. They have no brain whatsoever. For example, here I have quantized value on, timing correction, right? No big deal there, but it locks you in. I want that all the time. And so what we do is we go inside and purposely mess the beat up. Here's how we do it. We're gonna do micro management. Micro beats. So I'm gonna come right here, I'm gonna drag this loop section down to 1 bar. Now let's hear this beat. I don't want to hear all this stuff here. I want you to hear some stuff here and show you some stuff here for one. First of all, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. Ooh, let's zoom in like this. There you go. We're zooming in now, right? Now we see how this whole thing works here. Some of these parts are not actually on time. You will see here it says timing correction. If I play it now, it'll be on time. And some of them I keep a little bit off the grid. Like, for example, you'll see here this snare drum. These snare drums that you'll see in this beat are all going to be directly on that beat. Look at this one here. That's on 2. This is on 4. 2 and 4 are classics, right? 2 and 4 are the simplest ideas. So let's say, for example, I had a regular beat going on here. I would probably move this bass drum to 3. I'd take this one out of here, right? Maybe remove that one there, and remove this one here, and I got this. Okay, that's pretty simple, right? But what I really want to do is make a boom bap thing out of this. And once you see this here, you realize this bass drum here, this first bass drum is all correct. Now I'm gonna undo some of the stuff here. This one's correct too. I'll pull this in a little bit more. Doesn't have to be there, right? Pull it right to there, perfect. And then I'll pull this in a little bit more too, right to there. And this one also, because they're not 1/8 notes, I'm making all 16th notes here, as you can see, and filling them out properly. So I can come back in here, I can say, well, you know, I'm gonna put one here. Or here too. Right? I think maybe here. And remove this one. And put this one here. And move this to here. Or move this to here. Move this to here. See, so I'm changing the beat around. I'm trying to get that groove going on here. And what I'm doing is I'm putting these bass drums in, but one thing I'm doing for sure is I'm putting this on the 1 here. I may take this one here and move it back here, but I can't do that. I remove timing correction here, and I'll come back and then I'll do it like this here. And that's a feel I like. It gives me that boom bap. And so what I'm doing here, I'm trying to take every little section and make it fit, but I'm also taking some beats off of time. I'll click this beat right here. You'll see it's not really there on that one on the right part here of the 16th note. I took it off a little bit and moved it closer to the snare drum, right? And I'll pull it back to you get to see that. And you see how it is. It's more there than it would be on the actual quantized value, which is this black line you would see right here. Now I want this to rush just to here now. Just to hear that. So I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to turn off timing correction and move it a little bit there, I think, right there, here. Maybe a little bit more. Oh, now. I like that there. And that's a little rushing in, then rushing back out. See, so I got that feel going on. And I got a hi-hat here too as well. Now, what I'm doing with this hi-hat is different. I'll come to here in the hi-hat, go back to the top here, and you'll see with the hi-hat is slightly off. Like, this is not on the 1. It's 1-1-30. If I go to here, I take it to the front, that's 1, and there's where it should be, directly on the 1, like this kick drum is. But no, I want to put a little bit off of that. 29 is even good. And I put it there, right? And I like that. So the reason why I'm doing this is to create this feel where it's not so much of this computer feel, but it's more of a humanized way to have it play. But it's hard to do because you have to get inside and make sure something has to be positively on beat, while the other stuff is a little bit off beat to make it sort of like get that, you know, that boom, ba-da, boom, right? That kind of boom bap thing going on. And so this is what we do. And this is how it happens. So here you notice here that this snare drum right there, or rather this hi-hat too, is on the same point. But I've got a snare drum here, which we have right here, right? So this is like this. I'm going to pull another hi-hat in here. We're gonna, one more right here. Where's the other hi-hat I got? I got a hi-hat right here. See that with echo and reverb on there, right? It happens at the right time. So it's on the opposite of the snare drum. There are two of them going on here. There's this one. And the counterpoint to that would be the snare drum. Right? So I'll put another one in here. I got another hi-hat here. And it'll be a hi-hat right about, let's see, right about here. Now watch this. I'm making sure that we make sure that this snare drum remains on beat. And the positive beats or kick drums that I'm playing are going to be on 1 and 3. Everything else, I can maneuver around that a little bit because I make that first 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. The 3 and the 1 is where the bass drum's at. The 2 and 4 is where the snare drum's at. Those I maintain as a positive groove. I do not move those off the groove. But everything else, I play around it with. So let's play this back. So I like that, not too bad. This snare drum sounds pretty good here. This bass drum, I've got some idea. I would like to move it a little bit. I'm not too sure closer. And I'm gonna hear this back now. I like that, perfect. So I might want to put one here. So I'm gonna go back to timing correction. I'm gonna put one right here. That's it. So I made another double bass drum right there. I like the feel of that. I've got them going. I might do this too. So I want to make sure I recognize where they are. I don't want them to be too close to each other like that. And so I gotta go back here first and get back to unquantized, and I get to here. And I pull it back. That's what it makes sure I can see that. It's not affecting it because this is actually one shot. As I hit this right here, All right, and I hit this right here with the bass drum, you'll see I can go to where they are right here. It's one shot right there. I can tell as I scroll back here, that's the kick drum right there. And so that's one shot. Now, I may want to add something else here, so I'm going to keep this going on here. A second bass drum is here as well. This second bass drum provides the ghost bass drum. It's imperative to have a ghost sometime, and it's a pretty complicated way to work. So when you're finger drumming, you don't get to do all this stuff. And the idea of using this grid view here improves how we can adjust the sound and see it visually and sort of correct it to how we want to have it almost humanized feel. So I got a beat here, which is this kick drum right here, and I'll pull this right up here. Now I'll play it back again. So these two are almost off. This one comes in here. See that? That's 1 3 or 1 7 3, and this is 1 1 7 4 9, right? So this one comes in a little before that one. So this one here, I want to move this to complement that one. And now I'll play it. See what happens? I played them together now. They have that feel now, almost that ghost feel. Right, and I got to put this one here. I might bring down its flavor a little bit. Keep this one up here where that's at. This one's gonna be here, right? So I'm gonna bring this one up more and bring this one here down a little bit more. So it gives that kind of boom, and it's a different feel when these two drums hit together. And so I'm creating a different feel between these sounds that are happening right here. Makes it sound pretty cool. Now what I want to do next probably is I may want to come in here with an open hi-hat, which I have here right here in this track, and I'm going to probably go back to TC correct, and I click here. You'll see the open hi-hat is on 5 10. So it's off of this grid. This line in the grid is a little bit off that grid. And you notice here that this is a little on the grid. I move this on the grid to here. This is on the grid. So the snares are right. But some of these bass drums I got a little bit off the grid, particularly this one right here. And so I'm doing this. You can see how this is off the grid too, and this is too. Now watch this. So I've got this groove going on now, this boom bap groove that I'm creating by moving stuff on and off the grid. And this is just the first 2 bars. Now this is a technique that Dilla perfected when he's actually making beats up for artists or for someone to jam to or for his own collection of sounds and actually tracks he's doing. And what makes it so cool is that it's micro beat making. I can come back in again. I'll go back to, let's say, over here. Let me just zoom out a little bit more, make it easier for us. I'll zoom out more, and I may want to go to another section. I'll grab this here. Right, I'm just going to grab this here and grab the end of this, actually put this over here to 3, and I'll bring this one over here, and I'm going to grab this one and take it over here to 2. And now I'll play it from here. So I want to put, I can see it right now. I'm going to put one right here for sure. This is going to be hot. Yeah. Now I could do that, or I might put it here. Now I'm not too sure because the next part I don't know. So I'd rather put it right here to guide me along right now, just to make sure I know where I'm at. Now once I feel the groove's good, I will probably go back to the beginning now and hear the two together. Now, you'll notice too, when I go back here to where I was at before, right here, that the same principle is applied here. I come right here, and you'll see that that kick drum is not on the 1 here. This one is going to help tube survive, and no kick drums on 3. And of course, there's a snare on 2 and 4, but it's locked into the groove. It's not off the grid. It's right there, 240. This is 220, right? So this idea of keeping one sound solidly in there is like a metronome within the track, like a tick, tick, tick. But this snare drum's got a little reverb, so it gives that feel like it's tight anyway. And it's tightly on the track, and it makes everything else that's a little bit moving forward or to push a sound to make it have that groove to it is right there to help it sound this way. Now, this is a pretty complicated way to do it, but this is how Dilla did it. And it's a pretty dope way to actually do it because you're working on the idea of creating the groove. So I'll play it again. Now, another secret to this whole idea is having a great sound. And to do that in the MPC software 2.0, which I prefer to use because of this one thing, when I'm making grooves, and I'm actually gonna make a beat for someone, I gotta make a hardcore beat or something, whatever, I will use the drum effects. The drum effects is a way to create a really dope sound. Like, for example, I got a bass from here. I'm gonna mute everything else out of here. I don't need to hear any of this stuff here right now. And when you're trying to make a great sound, you gotta have a great sound, period. So, for example, I'll play this back. Okay, so now you'll see here, I have effects here. This is drum effects, and everything else is the same. This drum effects only appears in the software. It is not on the hardware. So if you're going to use this to create the sound, you must go here to do that. And why? Because here, for example, I have a drop-down list, right, of the different effects I can add. Now, in this case, this is a tight bass. This says bass E, right? A tight bass I got there. I can play that. I can adjust this too. Oh, here you go, but medium. And you can hear it. It's subtle, but you can hear the differences. Here's a bit crush. Stop it, play it. It's bit crushing, right? You hear that right now. I know you hear that. Decimator. That's hardcore right there. And if I want to apply that also with this bass and make it wider, we'll say. I get a little after noise. You get a little after noise there? So you have to take your time, go through this, and get an idea of what sounds great. Now I'll pull this off, the decimator off a little bit more. Too much little noise in the background. I'll pull it back a little bit more. Yeah, a little bit more, and it's not too bad. That's not bad there. We have tube drive. I'll get to here, and whoo, tube drive, right? So I just want to go to here and increase the level of the volume of tube driving. Without it, gives that driving sound, that drum, right? This is a dope piece of system right here. Okay, that sounds bad. A dope effect within our program mode inside of the software of the MPC 2.14.0.20. I remember that one. Okay, so here we go back to here. We have gain too, but this is a different gain. If I play this drum back and I go up to here, it reduces the gain. Pretty simple. Then we have a soft clipper right here too as well. You see this, like that's times 1.4. So these effects you should learn as well. And you'll read more about them inside the manual, but I'm using them in a way I feel is best for me. For example, here's a high pass filter. I'll press play here. We're gonna go back to here. I want to apply the high pass filter. Okay, let's try this. I'll go to here. What the hell? So what it does, it lets the highs pass, but the lows can't get through. It's like no lows, but the highs get through. Pretty simple stuff. You know, so I call and pull this back down to here. So I would apply, or actually do apply these effects to certain drum sounds. Oh, the wife's calling. And so what I have to do actually is get myself lined up to how the feel is going to be. You know, with a boom bap sound, I need to hear this right here. I got to have a combination. It's got to be a boom and a bap. Not bad. I just changed it a little bit. See that? I had a little more tight, that drum. prefer this one though. It has more of the boom that matches the bap. That's an important part about doing boom bap. The boom's got to match the bap. Now this system I'm doing right here, playing the stuff back, is how you do it. Now you should get to the point where you have them all lined up together, and you might say, okay, I got a 4-bar phrase. And I prefer to use a 4-bar phrase to keep myself going. I've got more than that here going on this whole system that I designed for this teaching lesson today. But here I go 4 bars now. Now I go back and pull some parts in here. Let's go back to pull the hi-hat in. Another hi-hat. Now notice too here, I got a snare drum here, and I got a hi-hat here. Watch this. They're both playing at the same time. Right? They're both on time. The snare drum is perfectly on time. And if I zoom in a little bit, you'll see that this hi-hat is a slightly off the beat. See, the first hit is going to hit there. But I want that hi-hat to give a little more on the back end of it, so we establish the one part that's going to be in time no matter what to the drum machine concept. And that's important to do. So now I'll go back to this again. Let's zoom back out, right back to here. Our first 4 bars. I'll pull these out again. We'll play it from the top. Now stop this. Now next thing I'm going to do is put the ghost drum in. The ghost bass drum is a classic thing I use, and a lot of guys use. I know Dilla always uses that too. The ghost bass drum helps you propel the bottom bass drum by being not as loud, but being solid up on it. So now the last thing I want to show is that ghost bass drum. My wife called me on the phone. I got to go now. So let's go back to here. I'm going to play this drum here, That's the ghost bass drum. Here's the real bass drum. That's loud. This is just a thud, right? But now I got it on. Now watch this. And there aren't many of them. I go right here, this bass drum right here. There's only like 4 of them here, or 5 of them right here. But they help to give that groove the groove. So that's the idea we're talking about now. How you can do this without finger drumming, without doing anything else, but actually focusing on the micro rhythm. The rhythm on the first beat, the second beat, the third and the fourth beat. And then make them come all together to make one long beat. Now it takes some time to do this. Of course, as you can see, I take some off the beat. But what I explained to you also here is I have one sound that's always going to be like a metronome. That one sound is perfectly in tune, or actually in time, to the time and correct value. The rest, I can pull this off a little bit and develop my own technique, how I want each drum to sound in the micro rhythm of each bar. Pretty cool, right? I'll see you in the next video. Any questions, let me know down in the bottom, of course, and please subscribe. You know what we do. We get deep and in depth in what we're doing. I'll see you soon.